Hi everyone, long time no see, right? Such a long time. Such a long time, in fact, that I have barely even been watching YouTube. So it's going to just be a little quick chit chat update. How have you been? And yeah, you might want to get a drink because I'm feeling chatty. But yeah, so things have been a little bit crazy here the last few months. We moved house in June, and as you can imagine, moving house is very, very stressful. Combine that with a business, and I just had to kind of drop some balls, as you know how it is, juggling motherhood, juggling business, all of that kind of thing. You have to drop a ball every now and then, and this was the ball that had to be dropped because I just couldn't fit everything in. I just really couldn't. So yeah, we have moved house into a nicer area. It's a smaller house, but it's got a really great garden for Lola, which is what we wanted. The area that we live in is quite difficult to find housing that isn't student housing or HMO housing, so we got really lucky with that, and we're really chuffed here. It's a smaller house, like I said, but we really like the area, so you kind of have to weigh things up, don't you? And we've pretty much kind of settled in okay. We've still got things like the garage is still a tip and needs sorting out and all that kind of thing, but generally fine. So we're actually filming in the bedroom right now, and yeah, so we had to get that out of the way, and like I said, juggling that with the business. The business, I own a restaurant, for those of you who don't know, has been really challenging in recent months. We've had obviously to overcome COVID, when we'd only been open for less than 6 months before COVID hit, and then we you know, you have to deal with all of the repercussions of that. There were a lot of staffing issues post-COVID, and then what happened as well was, because of the situation in Ukraine, there was a massive price increase on lots of things. Brexit, there was stock availability issues, and now obviously we're facing a cost of living crisis, which I am going to talk about in depth a little bit more on here, because I think it's something really important that we're not talking about enough, and it's something that's impacting all of us pretty much, and just how challenging it is to kind of have to reevaluate everything. And it seems to me as well, like on YouTube, it seems to have kind of glossed over everybody, and no one seems to have been really affected by it. And I think, like, as a business owner, I'm affected by it, and like in our day-to-day life, I can see the price increase everywhere around me. Just doing what would normally be a £30 shop is now a £40 shop. And where are people getting this extra income from? And the implication that's going to have on us as a business is, if people don't have disposable income, what's that going to mean? All of that kind of thing. Staffing has been really challenging, as it always is. It's the hardest part of it by far. I would rather deal with any like customer complaints any day of the week over the constant staffing issues. It's just a very hard balance to get right, and just when you think you've cracked it, you realise you haven't. You can never kind of foresee what's around the corner, and you have to look at yourself all the time and your kind of management skills to be able to do the best that you can do. And it's funny because I've got a friend who is in a similar industry, and we were talking about it the other day, and she just said that she can't help but always feel like everything's always her fault. And I could completely relate to what she was saying, because you always feel like, as the person in charge, everything's on you. And it's hard. It's hard, especially if you're somebody that's quite empathetic, and then you find yourself kind of being so drained that you kind of almost lose empathy. So it's just a challenging industry. But we're kind of trying to do everything we can and trying to get the ball rolling, but it's very hard as well to juggle it with motherhood, because the situation that we're in is a little bit different in that, so we are a limited company, and we both deal with different aspects of the business as well as working hands-on. And we have Lola. Lola isn't in childcare. Lola will be 3 in March, and she isn't in childcare. We go to playgroups, we see friends, we do a lot of that kind of thing, and I really make sure I do a lot of that kind of thing with her. But currently at the moment she isn't in childcare for a few reasons. Cost is one of the main ones. It is very, very expensive, and also just her kind of settling in and all of that kind of thing, which I won't go into. It's a personal choice, it's up to people. And I also kind of think like it's such a small time period until they go to school that I want to enjoy it as much as I possibly can. So it's an absolute juggle. Like towards the middle of the week it's a little bit easier for us, but like Mondays and Tuesdays are absolutely crazy manic. So Mondays we kind of do all our shop for the restaurant and that kind of thing, and we've started trying to kind of like do things like go to Lidl and go to Aldi and try and kind of find stock that's the same quality but at a better price point and all of those kinds of things. And it's really, really challenging because it's time consuming, because when you're doing it with Lola, and it's just, there's a lot of rushing around and feeling like you're never on top of everything. And if you're somebody like me that really likes to be on top of everything, it's hard. And then like for example, my mum always has Lola on a Monday evening, and then we pick her up on Tuesday. So that's kind of our form of childcare, and that's purely because my mum lives about an hour away, so it wouldn't work otherwise. And Lola loves going there as well. But so today when I'm filming this won't go up till Sunday, but transport back in time, today is Tuesday morning. I got up, I got dressed, and then I had a meeting, it was a Zoom meeting with somebody from Deliveroo that I was trying to sort something out with. And then I've got to go in half an hour to have a meeting with a card machine rep that I found that's going to swap our card machines over because I found a deal that works better for us, and just loads and loads of things like that, and rushing around and doing everything. And it's just really manic, which leads me on to another thing that I wanted to briefly touch on. I wasn't sure if I was going to mention this. Sorry, I'm just time checking. We're okay. I wasn't really going to mention this just because I know it can be a bit triggering for people, and I know that it's not really interesting. It's not really anyone's business, but I did want to talk about it just in case somebody was going to bring it up. But that was about my weight. So what happened was probably about, I don't know, 6 months or so ago, I'd gotten to a weight that I was really happy with. I have completely changed my whole kind of relationship with the whole thing. I've talked about it a little bit, but I will kind of talk about it a little bit more because I really do feel really strongly about kind of the way in which I have tackled my emotional eating and how I've got to a weight that I'm happy with. But what had happened over the last 6 months was, I think being so busy and being run down and constantly being on the go had meant that I actually ended up at a lighter weight than I probably should be. That's not to say, you might be looking at me now and thinking, yeah, like whatever, you are not too thin, and I'm not. But I'm of like quite a petite frame, and so it did get to a point where people like in my close life were mentioning it and just saying, you know, like maybe like, you know, a little bit more and eat a little bit more. And what tends to happen to me, which is just a body shape thing, is here goes very bony on me, which is just a shape thing. It's not something I can help, but I think that's kind of what people notice and people pick up on. So I am having to be quite mindful of that and making sure that I am eating enough, because when you're on the go so much, especially with a toddler, like Lola doesn't sit still, she's running, you're on the go so much that you're probably burning off more than you realise. So I was having to kind of keep an eye a little bit on that, because I didn't want to lose any more weight. I do not want to lose any more weight than where I am now. Like it's you know, I'm happy where I am, so that's really good. And then as well, what I always say on YouTube is I kind of don't know where I'm at, because you know, I love makeup, but it was funny, it's my birthday next week, and I cannot think of anything that I want for my birthday. And Paul keeps asking me, and he was like, isn't there like, I don't know, a makeup palette that you want? And I was like, no, I don't use makeup palettes. Do you think I have time to use makeup palettes? Like, it's just a different playing field now. And I want to talk a little bit about where I think kind of the market's gone in terms of that, because I find that really interesting too. But what I like in products has changed, and I still love talking about product, but I don't consume as much of it as I used to. so it's kind of hard to do that. Motherhood things I really do want to talk about, but I'm also very aware of the backlash that that can cause. But I do have things that I want to talk about. Like, I really want to talk about our weaning journey, for example, because oh my god, like, she is the best eater you have ever seen in your life. I'm sure that's not to do with what I did, it's just to do with her. But I want to talk about things like that, and I want to talk about just business related things, and there's just lots of things that I want to talk about, but I'm just not sure how to incorporate everything into it. I want to maybe do a bit more vlogs, I want to do some more foodie content, and just make this channel something a little bit different to what it has been for a very long time, and not be stagnant, because it has been. And I won't be able to commit to maybe more than 1, maybe 2 videos a week, because of everything that I've got going on. But you know, it's the lead up to Christmas, and I just feel like I want to be able to get back into this, because I miss it. I miss talking to you so much. Like, I could get like I could get emotional talking about this now, but like, I love doing this, and I need to prioritize doing it, because it's something that I enjoy. So yeah, that's just a little rundown of where we are at, how things have been. I did want to start doing a bit more fashion content as well, actually. So do you know what we'll do to end this video? I'm going to show you what I'm wearing, because I have really gotten into buying stuff from charity shops. We have a lot of charity shops on our high street, which is another source of tension, to be honest, because that probably would explain why our high street is so not busy, and that's because charity shops don't pay business rates, do they? So they pop up a lot. But anyway, a lot of our charity shops have got really good finds, and I've got this dress. It's old, it's from Topshop, RIP Topshop, but it was £2 from Topshop. Oh, bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to turn that down. Right, 1 second. So yeah, it's just this little kind of bodycon short dress from Topshop. It's got like a tie bit here that you'd kind of do that with, and I've got it on with some black tights, and I'm just going to wear my they're these like H&M patent boots with it as well. But yeah, I will love you and leave you now. I will go and see what that phone call was about, and I'll see you soon. Bye.